So next, let's talk about another sci-fi series. That's the Orville. Fans like myself of this series are waiting for any news, basically, good or bad. And we already know that since they're not filming and have no plans to film in 2023, that we won't be seeing a season 4 in 23 or 2024. So that's at least 2 more years without the Orville. But finally, we have one speck of good news, and that comes from Chad Coleman. He appears as Clyden on the Orville, and although his character is not that likable, the man himself seems very likable. I seem to be watching shows with him in it all the time. Right now, I'm watching Superman and Lois, and he's a villain this season. I know most people remember him from The Walking Dead. On Orville, he's good as, Clyden, Bortus's mate or partner, or whatever you want to call it, on again, off again. I think he's a great actor, but he seems like a really good guy too in all the interviews I've seen with him. But anyway, this is what he had to say about the future of the Orville, and this is from the website Red Shirts Always Die, which I know has been around for a while, but I seem to be checking more and more. So if you're looking for another website about Star Trek, I think Red Shirts Always Die is a good one too. So this is what Chad Coleman said about the future of the Orville. We're in the loop and out of the loop. We think it's going to happen, but it's still up in the air. There's so much going on with all these studios that it's just like, well, we got to settle this thing first, then we can really decide on that thing. A bunch of that is going on. We hope so. Seth has an amazing relationship with Dana and with Disney, who's running it now. And they said they've had promising meetings, so we'll see. The Dana that he's talking about is Dana Walden, who is the chairman, I believe, of Disney, and who survived the Disney-Fox merger, which I thought was very interesting. But I think that what Mr. Coleman is talking about right now, when he says, we got to settle this thing first, then we can decide on that thing, he is specifically talking about the TED series that Seth MacFarlane created and is also writing and is also directing and is also starring in. So Seth MacFarlane just wasn't busy enough that he created a TV series based on a character that was in 2 films in the 2000s named Ted. If you don't know, it's about this teddy bear that basically comes to life and is really like profane and stuff like that. So the series is going to be a prequel to that movie, so it won't have Mark Wahlberg or anybody else that was in the movies. It'll basically be Mark Wahlberg's character as a kid. This series is coming out this year on Peacock, and it's another series where like Seth MacFarlane is involved in everything. And this is on top of him voicing characters in The Family Guy, American Dad, and Robot Chicken. And these are all series that in the past he either created or like wrote on, directed, and he's had to take steps back because of all this work. So I think that the problem here is that Seth MacFarlane is just too damn busy. He's just got too many things going on. And with this TED series coming out, I think that they're going to do a wait and see. They're going to see this first season, how it resonates with an audience. And if it's popular and gets more seasons, I think the Orville is dead. I think if Ted gets a season 2, you can pretty much write off the Orville. And if you're thinking, well, why doesn't Seth MacFarlane do like he does with American Dad and Family Guy and just play Ed Mercer? Don't direct, don't write, don't worry about the storylines, just come in and act. From articles that I've seen about Seth MacFarlane and interviews that he's done, one of the constants is that one of his favorite things about the Orville is that it's his first time to develop characters over many seasons. And if you watch the 3rd season of the Orville, you know that's true because every episode in that season had something that had like a story or a character development or something that had to do before that. I mean, I know I was on a podcast where I made the comment that there's no way you could watch the 3rd season of the Orville without watching the first 2 because there's so much development and so many stories that are touched on again. So it's obvious that that's something that Seth MacFarlane wants to do. So if you take that away, then I don't know. I mean, Seth MacFarlane obviously does not need a paycheck. He's got 62 jobs. So I think that you really need Ted to fail. If you're an Orville fan, I think you're just hoping that Ted fails. That's the brass tacks of it. I don't see how Seth MacFarlane does all this with the Orville and Ted and Family Guy and American Dad and Robot Chicken and whatever else he's got going on. I think that that's really the problem here with the future of the Orville. I know that the ratings have been good. I know that it's always in the top 10 shows watched on Disney Plus. There's no other series on Disney Plus like it. So I think that the only way that it has a future is if Ted doesn't, which is kind of morbid, but Ted's kind of a morbid show. So maybe it fits, but let me know, what are your feelings on the Orville? Do you want to see a fourth season? Do you think that it ended with the third season and that's fine? Did you not watch the third season? Did it lose you in the third season? I know it did for a lot of people. I didn't particularly care for the third season. You know, I've been able to sit with it longer, the third season, and the tone change is not such a shock to me. But I still think that it's the weakest season of the three, and I miss the comedy. So if it's going to continue like that, I don't know, maybe I don't need to see the Orville anymore. But let me know, what do you think about the Orville, and do you want to see more of it? Hey everyone, Eric here. Thanks for joining me, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. This was taken from my weekly podcast, WDIM News, which you can catch each Monday on this channel. If you would like to check out the full podcast, you can do so by clicking on this video here. Make sure that you not only hit the like button to help support me, but also hit the subscribe button so that you know when my new videos come out. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you next time on What Did I Miss?